For nearly a month, I've had the privilege of being with those that have been online, as the occasions were, that I've been bringing germ thoughts from the book Penetrating the Darkness. I would, of course, be crazy to say that in this handful of just small time nuggets, that hoping that they have some value, is not approaching gold maybe, but value to you. But they're ideas that are inherent to understanding how we can bring the light of God's love into a world that needs to see. That's not going to happen unless we see first, which is the reason in Ephesians chapter 1 that the Apostle Paul prayed, and he said, "My prayer for you." And I can see him saying it with a smile on his face. He says that the eyes of your heart would be enlightened, that you may know the exceeding greatness of God's power toward you, and the hopes that he has for you. Those hopes are not only for his fulfilled purpose in each of us, but the fulfillment of his purpose through us. He goes from that into describing the awesomeness of the power that works in us. It's the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. It's the same power that has broke the powers of darkness. And then Jesus, he goes on to say toward the end of chapter 1, read it from yourself, chapter 1:14 to the end of the book to the end of chapter 1 of Ephesians. And it says, he brought all principalities and powers under his feet, and now is ministering through his church in order to change the world. The essence of spiritual warfare is understanding Jesus could conquer it all in a minute. But he broke the power of evil at the cross and said, now we're going to do this in partnership together. Being a witness for him is a part of it. Being a person of the Word and the way we live is no small part, but being a person of the Word is to become a person who says, I'm called to be a warrior too. A person that Jesus said, if you're going to be a disciple of mine, then sit down and count the cost. And he gave a parallel saying that nobody going into war doesn't count the troops. Well, counting the troops has to do with the Lord saying, I'm counting on you. And he still is today. And I want to turn and say to him, Jesus, you can count on me. I'm your servant, and I want to be an instrument under your touch. May God grant your growth in spiritual warfare. It is not an agony of a life, and it's something we're all called to. It's very fulfilling. At times a wrestling match, but it always leads to victory as we penetrate the darkness.